Welcome. Welcome to this wonderful space. Welcome back to you. Welcome back to us. Welcome to this wonderful space. There are so many shifts that have been happening to all of us, to us all, and so we're here. We'll do a little bit of clearing, and then we go into the messages, okay? Because there's just being a lot of the energies shaking up from within us and around us, just to continue to grow and expand in this beautiful, beautiful journey. So. And knowing that everything's serving its purpose for us to be where we are. And as we are staying in this journey, we're going back into remembering what we are, where we come from, and what we came here to do. So it's wonderful to be in this space, okay? So I invite you to do just a little clearing, because as I was saying, there have been so many things happening, so many things happening, so we'll just begin to cleanse the energy and then going into the messages, okay? So Oka Serenina Mata Saretikini, Nata Sareti Pata Serenina, Foka Serenina Mata Sijaku, Nata Serenina Saretikini Mata. So feel this in your auric field, Suka Serenina Mata Sijaka. Feel this in your heart space, Soradaka Serenina Mata. Feel this in your solar plexus, Soradaka Serenina Mata. Feel this in your diaphragm, Soradaka Serenina Mata. And feel this in your roots. Wow. There's been so many things going on and so many shifts. A lot of us are feeling this wonderful shift within us. There's this almost like an earthquake happening inside of us, which is so good. It's so good. It's just there's a tendency to see this earthquakes as something bad is happening. Okay, so what now am I going to lose, right? So now the question will be to us, what am I gaining from this earthquake? Because when we really see the earthquake outside of us in Mother Earth, right? There's a reason why she does what she does. It's not that she's thinking, how can I mess up these humans, She's actually putting herself into balance, So one earthquake might happen in one side of the world, the other earthquake will happen in the other side of the world, or another volcano. So there's got to be this balance that is going on. So it's just kind of a reflection of you and in your journey. Inside of us, there's also those little earthquakes happening. And it's not really happening to mess you up. What is really happening is to really shift something, because your system is so intelligent. So the system goes into okay, there's something that must shift here. And so how can I create the shift? Let's create this movement. We can call it earthquake. You can call it movement. You can just call it a clearing. Let's create this clearing. How do we create this clearing? By really moving these things around. And so this is what happens, you move it around. And it's your own intelligence and the intelligence of the physical body that is saying yes, this is really what I need. This is really what I need right now. And so how it surfaces up with emotions, And of course, we're having a human experience. We cannot take the emotions out. If you take the emotions out, most of the time you're pushing them away and you're in a numb state, which is not very healthy for you. So these earthquakes are happening inside of you is because there is a communication within your being that is saying, I'm ready. you know? So you're saying, I'm ready to commit to something bigger. I'm ready to experience a bigger part of myself. I'm ready to experience more trust. I'm ready to experience more of my intuition and just to experience me as a whole, you know? And so this is what has been happening to like, hi Carrie, so good to see you, or to read from you. But so like this is what has been going on, and it's been going on through like so many of us, like I've seen like so many childhood wounds coming up to the surface, or just like anything around. There has been such an emotional time right now, and that's okay, you know. We gotta acknowledge that everything is happening for us for a greater good, right? So if you are in the state of like the victim mentality, how can you really alchemize that energy for the greatest good, you know, if you're seeing it as something negative? But then if you take a step back and really remember, you know, this is all about remembrance, remembering that your system is super duper intelligent, just like the system of Mother Earth, right? As I was saying, when she does some kind of earthquake, she does it to put something into balance. So now she's a reflection of you, and there is like some kind of earthquake happening. Maybe it is right now, maybe you just went through it, or maybe it's coming, you know, it's bubbling up, like a volcano that begins to bubble up and then goes like, you know. so here we go. And like going back into like, my system knows exactly what to do at any moment given in time. And so therefore, you can surrender to it, right? And there's this theme that has been popping up with my clients about trust, right? Like trust. And I feel that this is really a theme of most of us, really, like trusting, you know, how can you really trust the process? And the thing is, you know, like it really goes back into like healing many wounds of childhood and many wounds that you've been carrying from ancestral healing. But it's just kind of like the awakening process, that it's a continuous process, you know. You begin to trust, and then maybe you trust a little bit at the beginning, and then it continues to expand. So think about it like a muscle, right? Or like like a muscle, like the muscle memory of your own being, right? So for example, when you first start practicing yoga asana, the beginning could be challenging, right? And then, you know, like you continue to practice for who knows how long, and then you take a little break, and then you go back into it. So there's that remembrance in your body that says like, oh, I remember how to do this. It's the same thing with trust. Because again, you know, trusting is part of our being. It's just like who we are. Like the trusting, like when you look at the energy of the earth, right? The energy of the earth is just in full trusting mode, which is also, you know, a mirror of us. We are in full trusting mode. It's just that because we chose a family, because there's so many things happening in this planet, then in a way it kind of like the muscle like begins to be forgotten, you know? And so here you are in your amazing awakening process, going back to your own remembrance, going back to your own story through your own personal experience. And then you're like, how could I actually trust? So if you see this muscle as like, let's just say like a beautiful like sphere of light, okay? So this beautiful sphere of light, which is your trusting muscle, and it's surrounded by, in a way, these clouds. They are really the traumas, you know, the traumas that happen to you in your life. So the more that you peel them off little by little, you know, like a little, like pulling off the layers of an onion, it is the more that this can actually have room for expansion, right? And then the expansion is the remembrance of that is also part of you. But this is like where the work comes in, right? And the compassion. Goodness, compassion is like one of the biggest keys in like the awakening process. Because if you are like going over and over in your head, like saying like, you could have done better, or like, why did you do this again? You know, like feel the energy of those words, right? And also like how it comes out. It's kind of you're just slapping yourself rather than remembering like where you come from and everything that happened to you prior to get to this moment in time. And so when you're saying like, it's okay, you know, like literally think about it. And this is also something that I tell my clients a lot. Think about it as your own inner child. You're talking to your own inner child the entire time. Like, it's okay. you're okay. This happened right now, but we're learning and we're remembering, and that's okay. Next time it will be better. Because again, as you're remembering, as this like muscle of trusting is expanding again to go back into, the expansion that it was at one moment in time that is like limitless, like you have to have compassion for yourself, right? And you have to create that trust. You see, here's the keys, the trust to the trust. Because you got to create that trust with your own inner child. It's not that you're just like, if she's really wounded and she doesn't feel like she can trust you or he can trust you, right? Like she's gonna be very like, I don't know, like kind of put like some walls up there with you first, right? So she'll put these walls up and kind of watch you. She will watch you, and this happens energetically. She will watch you, or he will watch you, and just be like, I might trust you. I feel like I can trust, but it takes a little bit. And I think about when you're really looking at, this happens a lot actually, when you're looking at a wounded puppy or a wounded dog, like they're kind of like with the eyes like super wide, like terrified, right? And it's not like they're just gonna let you hug you like no big deal. They will be skeptical for sure, because you need to build a rapport. You need to build a rapport to say that like, I can be trustful, and you have my back. But this is why there has to be the rapport with you, with your own being, because it is all about you. This awakening process is all about you. Yes, you remember things from your ancestors and you connect to all of us, but first it starts with you, and you are the most important person in your own journey. So when you learn and remember to trust yourself and to have compassion for yourself, then you're building that rapport. You're building the trust with your inner being. And the inner being that was definitely like hurtful, it definitely was hurt for something that happened in childhood, or something that happened in what we call past lives, or something that you have been carrying from your ancestors, So there's got to be that rapport that gets built between you and your inner self. And it's not that your inner self as a whole is wounded, but again, it's like this clouds, around like your core that is just saying like, you're wounded, there's nothing you can do about it. But there is with trust. There is with trust. But again, like the trust, and it's like your own definition really, Like for me, trust is having so much compassion for myself to the point that I surrender to everything that comes through. And just to remember as well, like everything that I went through in my life, especially those moments that hurt so deeply that I went into such a big depression. So in those moments, remembering those moments and where I am, it's just like, wow, okay, if I could trust in those moments where I was suicidal, what makes me believe that I cannot trust right now? This is something really important, right? If you could trust that you could go through all the shit that you went through in your lives, and they were very difficult, what makes you believe that you cannot trust right now, or that you cannot surrender for something? Because at those moments, it was like that bubble, your muscle memory of trust, they was sending this energy saying like, we got you. That muscle has you, and it's constantly just pulsating energy for you to feel it again, right? In order to feel it, you must have compassion for yourself. In order to feel it, you must trust the wounded parts of yourself. Like, let's say this again. You must trust the wounded parts of yourself in order to trust yourself. Because it is through those wounded parts that something magical is coming through. Most of the time, especially as healers, right, and light workers and starseeds, wherever you call yourself, most of the time, we have been made fun of for like thinking differently, or for dressing differently, or for speaking differently, or for having some kind of different belief. And like, it happens to really most of us because we gotta find ourselves, and we feel so much that we get immersed into this like what we call darkness, so that we can find the way back. So that you can find the way back. So every single thing that happened to you, that yes, like It was completely shitty, and I'm not taking away that it hurt, that it really, really hurt you, and that there was some kind of like energetic trauma happening, and it was definitely not nice, I'm not taking away that from you at all. But like that, the hidden energies of that trauma is your power, because through that you walk through the fire, you walk to the dark corners of your soul and find the medicine that will allow you to lead your life in the most divine way. And that medicine is what is needed in your journey for you to continue to go, which it will open up different spaces for more medicine within your system in your journey, which also be the medicine for others if you choose to work with others. And I'm not even talking about like kind of like the work that I do, having sessions or group, whatever it is, What I'm talking about is like your own medicine as you expressing yourself as you are, as you literally being you unapologetically. Just being you and owning who you are and have the confidence in your being, because that is medicine for people. That is medicine for people, Like if somebody is just like fully on the press and you pass by them and with your divine energy and light, you smile at them and say good morning or like whatever it is, have a beautiful day, that immediately sends a signal to the wounded parts of that being that is depressed or feels depressed. And there's a remembrance, there's an activation that happens like that. And it's like, oh, somebody sees me. Wow, how powerful is that? Can you go back in your memories when you felt like nobody saw you and you just felt so like low and depressed and whatever, and then there was this one person that smiled at you, and just by the smile you felt like, oh, I'm seen, like somebody cares. And it's like, and it's this person that I don't even know that just passed by me and just gave me this beautiful smile. And so like there's this boost of energy. Remember, we're always communicating through energy. So it's so important that again, it all goes back hand in hand with compassion for yourself. Like this journey as it is, it can be challenging. It can be challenging. I mean, like, there's many people that choose not to go into the dark spaces because it's too much to handle, and that's okay, that's their journey. But there's some of us that will choose, like, literally consciously just to go into the spaces because we know there's something there. There's something there, and that's why you're in this journey. That's why you continue to love yourself. That's why you continue to try all these things, or like try these classes, or this master class, or this session, or whatever it is, because something inside of you, the muscle memory of trusting, is guiding you and is pulsing this energy and is sending you the signal and is pointing to this person or persons or people, whatever, for you to be like, yes. So the trust itself is already in there. The trust is you. You are the trust. Just like you are love. You're the energy of life. You are it. You might have been conditioned or put stories in your head that like, that's something so difficult to achieve. But catch your mind. Because of course, if you want to think about, like the tension between like the light and the dark, right? Like, I mean, most of us really want to be in the middle, but there's a tension between the dark and the light if we like zoom things out. And of course, like anything in life, everything wants to survive. So the darkness, the dark part of, if you want to call it people, whatever, they want to do something to you so then they can use you as a puppet, so then you can continue to be asleep. And so it's easier to just say like, it's so difficult to trust, like don't even go that way, just stay into your whatever it is that you do, into your zombie kind of state. Then saying like, you got this. It's already in you. And who says that? The people that have walked the path. The people that are still walking the path with you. The people that have been opening up this path for all of us for eons. They're saying like, you got it, because it's already inside of you. All you have to do is have like the patience, the patience with yourself. You gotta have the patience with yourself. And knowing that whatever you are in your journey is divine and it's perfect, most of us, and this is something that happens with my clients too, when they are in the really deep like part of the like release process, they are like, how do I get out of here? What about how do I stay in it and love it and trust it and surrender to whatever it is that is telling me? Wow, do you see the difference? Rather than running away, it's like, how can I be here? Without wanting to run away, how can I be right here, right now, with all these funky emotions, if they're funky, all this depression, this anxiety? There's something beautiful there, which is your medicine, Oh, you're so welcome, sister. So your medicine, And this is also like, of course I apply this, like, I'm not different than you. I still go through my things, But then I've learned for many years to have different tools and to trust things very differently, right? But I've been, like concentrating in this muscle of trust for like so many years. Doesn't mean that you cannot do it. Some people could be, who knows, like 10 years down the road, or 20 years down the road, or 50 years down the road. And some people are just like starting, and that's okay. The starting point is so beautiful. And that's when you have the very good guidance of other people, or whatever is your teacher, your mentor, then like you go straight into it, because there's nothing that you have to unlearn, There's nothing you have to unlearn. You're just like, ooh. So staying in that like mentality of learning at all times, it's beautiful. And also, and this just happened to me recently, where like I was releasing this thing of childhood, like a really deep wound of childhood that I just couldn't place what it was, but I was feeling it for years. And then when I finally sat with it, because it was ready to fully come out to the surface, then I figured out, and I felt it. I was like, wow. And it really took me into this like about 3-day journey of like sadness, of depression, of anxiety, And then I was like, in that moment I was like, I'm gonna enjoy being here, because a lot of times I still go like, how can I heal this? Let's go inside really deep into the energetics and like release this thing. So I was like, I'm gonna honor this place that I'm in. I'm gonna honor that like this trauma just came up, and I'm gonna feel it, and I'm gonna be there with my inner child and whatever it is that is coming through. That doesn't mean, that I just was like trying to do funky things to myself. I still use herbs to heal. I still use like essential oils. I still did yoga. I still meditated, like good morning. I still did like all those things that I normally do that I didn't want to do. And then, when she was ready, when she felt loved, when she was like, okay, cool, we're good. You get it. I get it. This is how, in a way, we alchemize this energy. It was good. But I chose to stay there, because I was like, there's a medicine right here for me. And I'm not running away from that medicine. Running away from the medicine means that I'm not honoring my own power, that I'm giving my power away to this pain. So honoring, those moments, those really challenging moments, remembering, having your sticky note around, that your medicine are within those. That is just kind of like a gift that is wrapped around, and it's just like, you just gotta like unwrap it. And how do you unwrap it? Sitting with it, and also having compassion with yourself, and making sure that you're safe, There's many times when I release that I constantly tell my inner child, you're safe. I'm here for you. Because what mostly happens, and this is not all the time, but a lot of times when it's related to your inner child, when the wounded part of your being is ready to be alchemized, the wounded child comes and begins to like grab the steering wheel, and then she or he is driving. Could you imagine like a child driving, has no idea, right? But you're still in the back seat or in the passenger seat. And in order for switch the roles one more time, the bonding, the trusting muscle has to be built again. She or he has to trust you. And how do you get the inner child to trust you? What do you need? I'm here for you, and I'm listening for you. I'm listening to you. Tell me. You know, most of the time, my inner child is like, make me pancakes. I want chocolate milk. I was like, okay, let's have pancakes for lunch. Let's have chocolate milk. When I watch a movie, do you want to watch some cartoons? What do you want to do? You know? And then once when it feels safe, you know, go back into when you were a child, or if you have children, you know, when they feel very wounded, and you're like, what do you need? I'm sorry that I yelled. I'm sorry that I said this. You know, like, how can I help you? Right? It's like the same kind of relationship, very similar. And then once it feels really better, you know, if you have children, it's like, okay, cool, I'm good, and I'm gonna go play, right? So that's what it literally exactly happens. What it happens within your being. And then once the inner child feels that it's seen, it's safe, it's heard, you know, it's pampered, whatever it is that the inner child needs, then it's like, okay, you can go back to driving. I'm just gonna like chill in the back seat, and I'm gonna draw, or whatever it is that I do. And then the roles switch. But your consciousness, your personal consciousness of this moment in time, or whenever it happens, is still there present. It's still there present. So again, you gotta build a rapport. And again, the more that you build a rapport with your inner child throughout the days, throughout your life, the more that the trusting muscle continues to expand and go back. So then you, whenever you have an intense release, or even like when you receive messages, it's very easy to be like, yeah, I feel it. I feel it for sure, that is true. Like, and there's this thing of like, I don't know how it's true, but I know it's true. Okay? So that knowing that it's true, it's already you. It's already you. That's your trusting muscle. And I'm doing this because it pumps energy. It's kind of fun to do anyway. So, you know, so it's, it might seem very difficult. It might seem very challenging. But just go back into when you first learned something, right? Almost like when you first learn a language. When I first learned English, I was like, what the fuck? I don't understand anything of this. And I had to stop watching everything in Spanish, stop reading Spanish, stop watching Spanish TV in order to like literally go into like the English world, you know? So it was definitely challenging at the beginning. And now, you know, I feel that I speak it very well. Sometimes I mess it up, but, you know, so it's similar, having patience. And because this is you, you know, the more patience and compassion that you have with yourself, the faster it will come. The faster it will come, the faster you will remember it. So many of you, they are energy workers, right? I'm sure that the first time or the first couple times that you start to work with energy, there was that remembrance. There was that sensation of like, I know this. I don't know how I know this, but I know this. I've done this before. It's the same thing, darlings. It's the same thing. You know this. You've done it before because it's you. It's the same thing. So, you know, light it up a little bit, you know, because at times like this process could definitely be very intense. It doesn't need to be like so intense and so like boxed in, you know? You can light it up. And you light it up by talking to your inner child. You light it up by doing things that like make you happy. You light it up by playing. You know, playing is such an important role in this journey. Not forgetting that like playfulness is also part of our journey, a part of us. Even as adults, is such an important key as adults, you know? How many times have you seen adults, they're like, just like, so like, oh, that's for children. No, whatever, you know? They forget to play, so they're forgetting about their inner child. Your inner child wants to be nurtured at all times. You know, I'm not saying 24/7, but like, you know, like when you play, because like that innocence comes through, and it's also through that innocence that so many messages come through. And again, that innocence is also like a bridge to you, to the true you. And so like it is through loving the inner child, through really nurturing the inner child, that you go back to your own remembrance, It is to those dark corners when you walk through that fire that it takes you back to the pure essence of your being. The pure essence of your being. How wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? Yeah, I think we have all been meeting up with our inner child this past weekend. Yeah, there's so many sisters that I've been talking to, and they're like, yeah, okay. And that's good, you know, going back to the beginning of the live video, if you were not here yet, like, you know, there's this like somewhat of earthquake happenings within us because we're ready to experience something deeper, right? And so again, having the sticky note saying like, this is happening for my highest good, rather than like, why is this happening to me? See the shift of energy? So when you're like, why is this happening to me? Then like, it's very challenging to open up the space to see something different, a different perspective. But when you're saying like, this is happening for my highest good, maybe not like that, you know, because at times when we're in the space, we're like, oh, okay, I know this is happening for my highest good, even though I don't get it right now, but like, thank you, you know, thank you, holy smokes, that thank you opens up so much within you, because it says, even though this really sucks, you know, it really, really sucks, I'm grateful because I do understand that it's something bigger coming through. Trust me, a lot of times when I'm going through like deep processes, I'm like, thank you. Thank you for this uncomfortable emotions. Thank you, emotions, for being here. I'm listening to you. I'm paying attention. Yeah. It's not like I'm like, thank you, you know? Like, that normally happens when we're in a better mood, right? But that's okay. Honoring the moods, you know? That's like the beautiful thing, or one of the beautiful things about being human. One of the beautiful things of being human is to have all these amazing emotions, to have a different communication, and then guide us to different parts of our being. Wow. So let's use this, right? Let's use it. Why not? Why not? It's part of you. It's part of you. And it's here just for something really beautiful, to show you something, okay? So I feel that we're just going to do another clearing, because it's been like, one of my mentors yesterday told me, you know, we're about to be in more of an emotional, like, kind of ride and process. So we have been going through this emotional ride and process anyway. So let's do like a little clearing, you know, and just to center us more in the heart space. You know, that's really where most of the trust comes from. Whenever you begin to clear the energy around the heart, so the heart can just shine and expand and guide you. And you know, that's the sense, because that is what connects you to like the heart of the universe, the heart of the Mother Earth, which, you know, is in full trusting mode, you know. So all right. So in the heart space, concentrate there, okay? And let's see the inner child. Just see the inner child as he or she comes, is how you're meant to see the inner child. And just ask it, what is it that you need? What is it that you need from me right now? And then imagine that with your divine love, you're just embracing it in this wonderful light, you know? And you can visualize it how it comes. Maybe for you it's a sphere, maybe for you it's like an ocean wave, or maybe for you it's a row of trees, you know? Let this come through. If it's trees, allow the tree branches to move and to send energy to the inner child, so the inner child begins to feel lighter. If it's like ocean waves, just begin to play with the ocean waves, so the inner child begins to pay attention. And when you have the attention, what is it that you need of me right now? How can I serve you best? How can I show you my love? And how can we work together in unison? And allow the inner child to see you. And whenever you're ready, just invite the inner child in your arms. And maybe it takes a little bit for the inner child to come to your arms. Perhaps it comes right away. And whenever the inner child comes in your arms, just feel the expansion in the heart. Knowing that that part opens up your heart more. Knowing that the more you embrace the inner child, your muscle of remembrance, of trust expands. Knowing that this is you. You are embracing the wounded part of yourself that went through whatever it is that it went through years ago. So give to yourself that which you wanted to receive at that moment in time. Give yourself the love. Give yourself the compassion. Give yourself the laughter. And the opportunity to play again. And enjoy this embrace. Enjoy the embrace as you are embracing you, as you feel lighter, as the heart is expanding, as the inner child just really goes into like, okay, I feel better again. I can play again. I can be me. I can be me. Yes, you can be you. And then being you, as the beautiful and powerful multidimensional being that you are. And now invite the inner child to be with you in this present moment in time. Beautiful. So the messages I'm receiving right now is that an invitation, of course, to show your inner child something that you truly love in your current experience. Yeah, it could be a plant in your house, it could be your doggy, it could be a painting that you do, it could be dancing, just like have that connection. So then like the healing just continues to go in a more direct and gentle way, rather than just like collapsing. So allow this time, or give yourself this time, if you have this time right now, or you can do it later, to show how much you care for your inner child, to show how much you care for that younger version of yourself that went through so much as a child, as a teenager, young adult, whatever it was. And give yourself that care. Remembering again that this experience is all about you, and you're the most important person in your own experience. Therefore, the more that you trust yourself, the more you take care of yourself, the more things open up within your being, the more you go back into the full trusting mode that is already there, and the more that you connect with your gifts. As in, like, you give them permission to fully play with you. The gifts come from your inner child, because the inner child is so connected. So when we merge the adult side with the inner child in a neutral way, it comes through because we play together. And the magic that it had experienced as a kid, being in the womb and everything, it just like comes through. Remember, the magic and your gifts come from the inner child, the wise version of the inner child. And this is why we nurture the inner child. So then we can play as adults with our gifts in the most wise way. Oh, so good to hear. Wow, beautiful. So I hope this served you very, very well. May you have a beautiful rest of your week and your weekend. Monday is the new full moon. I think it's in between Monday and Tuesday, super early in the morning. But allow this time to just make your intentions, like working with the moon cycles are so powerful. There's a reason why our ancestors did that. So setting up your intentions, or what is it that you still want to let go of? What are you bringing into this new phase of the moon, a new cycle of the moon? And yeah, just go for it. You're here. You made it. You made it. It's not that you're making it. You made it. And you will continue to do so. And it's an honor to be here with you. I'm here to serve you in any kind of way. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, whenever you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a 4-day remembrance journey, which every day there's an activation that is different, and it gets built up towards the last activation. So part of it is protection, connecting to the heart space, and so on. And so with that, it can really give you like a peace, more peace, because I know at times when we are like so vulnerable and so sensitive and just like so connected, we can feel things very deeply. So it's just a gift from us. When I say us, I mean like, all the energies in the DT Ganesh that I work with, and me, of course, for all of you. And it's just about subscribing and you will receive it immediately, okay? And yes, you can check it in the link in Facebook in my bio, and it's right there. It pops up, and then you just hit yes, and then you put your information. Very, very simple. And if you like to work with your Kundalini energy, this Sunday I'm having a Raise Your Kundalini energy class. It's Kundalini yoga. It will be about 90 minutes with teachings included, so the practice itself will be maybe a little bit less than an hour. And you can also find it in the link in my bio. And so if you need anything else, I'm here. Thank you. I love you all so much. May we continue to be blessed, and may you continue to be in this wonderful journey of remembrance back to yourself and back to our story and all of this. Choppy.